Hey, I'm Sincere from Kids Wanna Know, the show with Kids Rule. And right now I'm here with Mr. Mark. I don't want to say his last name because, you know, me, the lifts, you guys know.
Szuszkeiwicz, it's a tongue twister.
Oh, it is. And as you guys know, this is not just any type of Mark. This isn't just any type of person. This is Statman from Real Fans, Real Talk. And he knows everything about every sport, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. That's what he says. So
Or everything about everything, but I don't want to sound too conceited. No, I'm just.
I hear. But we know now that, as you can see, I mean, by the way, I like your suit.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
As you guys can see here, that he's a politician now. So tell us, what got you into that?
Well, I think a lot of the people who are politicians now aren't doing the right thing by the people. They care more about themselves and their personal gain than they do serving the communities, and I'm seeing a lot of changes in the community that I don't like. I was actually born here in Coney Island. I spent most of my life in Bay Ridge. I'm seeing crime increasing in both neighborhoods. I'm seeing a lot of things that I don't like, and I don't trust politicians to do the right thing, especially during times like this with COVID-19. I have, aside from entertainment, I also have a background as a financial advisor, real estate salesperson, truck driver, all different types of professions. So the vast different professions that I've done helps me understand all different types of people, and I understand people, I care about people. Me and you have interviewed each other over the years at numerous community events, and I think it's time for somebody who not only cares about the community but has creative, intelligent ideas on how to make things better.
And understandable. Tell us a little bit about why you're here, and speaking about Coney Island. Tell us a little bit why you're here in Coney Island. What brings you? Because as you guys can see right there, I live right there. I'm not gonna say exactly where, but I live down there in one of those beautiful buildings. But tell us what brings you here today.
Well, aside from meeting you, like I said, I was born in Coney Island. Coney Island is near and dear to my heart. I've went to the amusement park, the beach, ever since I was a kid. Rode the Cyclone when I was a teenager for the first time with my hockey team, and a lot of great memories in Coney Island. Coney Island is a fun place to be, and it's a nice place to be, and I'd like to make some improvements and make it even better.
Great. Oh, by the way, that's it, like your suit.
Yes, you did. I appreciate that.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you running will benefit for kids like me.
Well, for the kids, for education, I think one of the things that the kids will like especially is after school video game program, which wouldn't start immediately after school. So let's say school gets out at 2:30, it would start at 4 o'clock. Kids will have time to do their homework first, gets tutoring with the teacher afterwards, then 4 o'clock hits and they can play video games with each other, but also compete against other schools online, almost like an e-league within the school system. The same way they have professional e-leagues with NBA 2K and things of that nature. As you know, I hosted the NBA 2K charity tournament in the Barclays Center for several years when I was with Real Fans, Real Talk, and playing as an e-league within the school, I think that's something that a lot of the kids will enjoy. But the reason why the parents would enjoy this is because kids have to maintain certain grades in order to participate, just like with sports. My hockey team, one year I got below a C average and I wasn't able to play for the semester, and then I was able to play after I got an A the following semester. So it's a motivational factor for kids to keep their grades up. They also have the aspect of getting tutoring and completing their homework beforehand, so they're doing their homework and learning things that maybe they didn't understand in class. And on top of that, a lot of parents work till 5 o'clock, and if their kids are someplace safe in school, both learning and doing their homework in school and then having fun afterwards until 6 o'clock, that makes it easier for them to work until 5 o'clock and then be able to pick up their kids from school or whatever the case may be, not have to worry about babysitters or things of that nature. So
that sounds great.
Multiple beneficiary factors for it to be implemented.
That sounds great. That's how I like your suit.
Yes, you did. I like your shirt, by the way, since I haven't said that. I mean, I like the Kids Wanna Know logo for a long time, but...
Got the merch. But, yeah. Can you tell us what position and what district you're running for?
I'm running for New York State Assembly in the 46th Assembly District.
So can you tell us where the 46th Assembly District is at?
Sure, it includes all of Coney Island where I was born and parts of Bay Ridge where I spent most of my life, Dyker Heights, and Brighton Beach.
Okay, so can you tell us exactly what does an assemblyman do?
Well, the simplest way to explain it, because I get asked this question a lot, is it's almost like the Congress of the state. You know how on the federal level you have Congress, you have U.S. senators, and you have a president. With the state, you have the state assembly, which is like Congress in a sense, the state senate, and then you have the governor, which is almost the executive, the same way the president is an executive. So basically we would write the laws. It would have to get passed in both the assembly and the senate, and then the governor signs it to law, the same way as on the federal level it would have to pass Congress, then the senate, and then signed into law by the president.
So we know about how on the news and all over social media and on the internet, how they talk about how the crime rate in New York, especially in the 46th district, is rising. Can you tell us how you as an assemblyman is going to stop that or like prevent it from happening?
Well, there's two things that the current politicians made mistakes on. One is the bail reform bill that they passed. They basically don't read a lot of the bills that are presented to them, and the bill was supposed to say it's not for repeat offenders and not for serious crimes, but they basically lied. And a lot of people are assaulting people and then getting out the very next day and committing crimes again. You had, I believe, it wasn't here, I think it was in the Bronx, a person who was arrested like 90-something times that just hit an old lady in the head. And you know, you can't have things like that. It's not fair for people that I understand there's a need for bail reform, and some people shouldn't have to, you know, go to jail, because I think that, you know, in order to try their case properly, them being in jail makes it a lot harder, and people who don't have money necessarily. But there's a need for bail reform, but not as ridiculous as they passed it. That's one aspect. The other thing is the whole defund the police movement is really not helping the community, because you're seeing the increase in crime as a result of it. You had the plainclothes police officers in New York who got disbanded, and they helped catch a lot of crime. One of my friends was telling me this the other day, that he was being mugged many years ago, and a plainclothes police officer saved him and arrested that person. Now, if you see a cop in uniform, you're probably not going to do anything, and you're going to wait until he's not around and then you do something, but that crime is going to eventually be committed. And in this case, you're catching the criminals that have ill intentions, because you have plainclothes police officers, undercovers, detectives, whatever you want to call them, that come in and they catch a lot of crime and put a lot of the bad guys in jail. So I think you need to, you know, de Blasio releasing a whole bunch of people from prison because of COVID, that probably didn't help the situation either. There's a lot of things going on by the politicians in office now, and they're making a lot of mistakes, and the community is paying for it, because they don't care. They have their private security, they have the police protecting them in front of their houses when they need to, but it's the regular people that get hurt the most by these politicians' policies.
But before we move on, I like your suit. I don't know if I told you though.
Thank you. Got the red, white, and blue, patriotic. You know, and my campaign slogan is forget about red versus blue and vote for the candidate that will fight for you. So
I like it. I like it. I like it. But can you give us any other ideas, or do you have any other ideas that will help the community?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is, I mentioned this on my website as well, mark4ny.com. I talk about banks and their overdraft fees, because I know you don't have a checking account yet probably, but what happens is a lot of these banks, I used to work for one of the largest banks in the world as a financial advisor, and what will happen is somebody would go over their bank account, maybe by a few dollars or something. Let's say they're over by about $10, and they'd get charged a $35 overdraft fee. Then they would get something else that was pending from buying something at a fast food restaurant for $5 or something, just a simple miscalculation, and they get a second overdraft fee, and that'll multiply 3 or 4 times. Sometimes people are paying $140. That's 4 overdraft fees, and they only went over their account by like less than $50. Just 4 little small charges that went under. And I think that's completely unfair, and they need to get rid of that. We do have in New York State a law that prevents the payday loans, which have ridiculously high interest rates. But when you think about it, the interest rates for these overdraft fees, it's not technically considered an interest rate, it's considered a fee. But if you have your direct deposit coming in and you only went $10 and you're paying $35 for one day, that's over 100,000% APR. So, I mean, it's astronomical. And when I worked for the banks, I realized that the clients that have over $100,000 sitting in their checking account, the banks make more money off of the average person that has a few $100s in there, that has a direct deposit, pays some overdraft fees every now and then, and has a credit card with a couple of $1,000s on it paying a high 20% interest rate. So they take advantage of the less fortunate, and they make more money off of them than somebody who's well off and has 6 figures sitting in a checking account. And I think it's completely ridiculous that the banks take advantage of the less fortunate, and we need to put a change to that. There's a lot of other unfair practices out there, but that's one thing that comes to mind. Another thing to help stimulate the economy and regrow the community is to fund community centers and affordable housing with municipal bonds. Now, municipal bonds are basically something that individual people can invest in, and they get triple tax-free interest on that investment. But they would be funding the projects like affordable housing, like community centers, with those municipal bonds. I get into more details on that as well on my website, markforny.com.
Guys, how you hear it? But now we're here, and this will conclude this interview. Such a great interview. Great to see you again, Mr.
You know
Statman.
what? Normally when you interview me, I'm not in a suit, and you know, I got all dressed up in a suit, and you didn't even mention anything about it this whole time.
We're out. That's it. No outro. We're here on the Bulwark. Statman.
Mark Szuszkeiwicz, the name with all the Z's in it, but I won't sleep on you like other politicians do.
I like that.
I got slogans for days.
Oh wait, before I tell you, I like it too.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Wow.
Tremendous show, tremendous success.